Today I'm going to show you how to plug this into this without an adapter, because it doesn't work right now. Hello my friends, and welcome to Tom's Tinkering Adventures. So recently purchased this travel trailer and also purchased this generator. And what I would like to do is to plug my 30 amp service, which is this cord, into this generator without using an adapter. Now there is an adapter available, but it's kind of a pain, and then it adds an additional couple of inches, which means that this cord is hanging, and I bought this generator specifically to use on this generator, so we're gonna do some modifications. Now, if you purchase one of these generators brand new, remember that any modifications you do will probably void the warranty. But I bought this used, so I'm gonna start tearing into it. First thing I did is I went down to my local hardware store. You may know the place, Home Despot, and I purchased myself a, what is this called? A TT30R receptacle, and it says right on it, recreational vehicle use only, so it's designed for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to adapt this into the spot where this twist lock outlet is. So let's bring this into the garage, we'll get it up on the stand, and we'll take a look at it, see what it's going to take to get this put where that is. I put it up on the motorcycle stand and remove the battery. Highly suggest you do that. It just takes a moment. One screw right here, pull the battery out, and then 2 screws. Battery sitting right over there. First thing I'm going to point out is the size of this twist lock outlet versus the size of this outlet. This one's considerably larger. So we're going to have to modify this opening by, well, I should have looked at the dial, but that's how much we're going to have to modify it. So we're going to have to grind that out a little bit to make this fit. First thing we're going to do is take off this cover. There's 6 screws here, and I think there's a screw inside of there. So I'm going to pull them off and we'll come right back. All right, so for your run start switch here, there is a screw inside of there. You need a long Phillips. And then these 6 are on the face, and then this whole thing comes right off. Now, here's our plug that we're going to be changing out right here. So we can see right here is our ground wire, and then we have a yellow, the yellow is the ground, and then we have a blue and a red, and I'm going to have to read up to see which one is which here. One is going to be a neutral, one's going to be a hot. Just looking here, we have the, let's see, we have gold there and silver there. So if I remember right, your silver would be your white connection. And it says right on the back here, white, which is your neutral. Someone's going to correct me. And our red wire is on the gold, so that should be our hot, and should be a piece of cake here, hopefully. Now what I'm seeing is this whole plate is wider than what's on here, so I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off, and then maybe we're going to take this thing to the grinder or see if I can't cut this down to width to fit in here. So let me get this removed first. So I have a nut mounting it right there, and there's another one in the back right there, and if we have to, we'll remove some of these other wires to get a little bit of access. Okay, in my instance, I removed this red wire right here. This is the parallel connection, and then I removed the red wire off of the distribution block right there. And as I removed it, I took the blue wire off, which is our white connection, neutral. So now we have this removed. We can take a look to see how this one will fit in, just for, as they say, S and G's, just to see if it'll fit in. And we do appear to be pretty wide. So I think our best bet's going to be to modify this, cut this down. As you can see, this one just has these little tabs. So if I was crazy enough, I could maybe see if I can modify this down so it's right to there, and then right to this edge, and see if it'll slide in there. So I think I might trying to decide what I want to cut this with. Maybe the grinder, or maybe a cutoff wheel very carefully, because I don't want to mess up the outlet. But I'm going to modify this a little bit, and then we'll bring it back and I'll show you what we got. And then we also have to modify the face of this, because remember, this hole is not large enough. Okay, I've modified this half of it here. I used the old aviation snips here. I cut a chunk of it out, and then I hit the rest of it on my grinder. You could do it with a file, you do it with a Dremel, but whatever. You need to cut a little bit off to get in there. This side's going to have to do the same thing. I'm going to have to cut just that little raised 90-degree. That's going to have to come off, and I might as well take it down to there. So I'll do the same thing I did on this side. Okay, we're modified, I think, enough to fit, and it looks kind of odd shape, but that's just kind of what you got to do because of the odd shape on the back of it. I also had to remove the which screw is this one here? I don't even remember. Green, the ground. So in order to get in here carefully, so I'll reinstall that, and now we need to enlarge that circle to 2 inches. So probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go over here, and I'm going to draw a 2-inch circle overlapping on there, and then using a Dremel, or you could use a hand file, whatever you like. This is just sheet metal with a little sticker over the top of it, so it's not too thick. So I'm going to enlarge that out to 2 inches. I was trying to think of something easy to use to draw a 2-inch circle, and I remembered I had some PVC pipe fittings. That's 2 inches right there. A little bit larger actually, so just go right inside of that circle, and should be good. So look around, maybe you'll have something around that makes a nice easy 2-inch circle. Cutting this out took much longer than I anticipated. I got a die grinder with a little stone, and been like slowly fitting this thing, so it appears to be fitting through, but that took a long time, a lot of work, and started to heat it up and melt the little plastic cover on here a little bit. So maybe a hole saw, 2-inch hole saw might have been the way to go. I don't know, but we've got it now, so we will test fit it from this side now. And it looks like we're gonna go, it's gonna take a little bit of finagling because this little side over here kind of has to sit underneath these breakers, but we'll be able to get that in. I think before I get it in though, it's going to be wise to hook up our looks like our hot wire here, because that's going to be buried under there, so we're not going to be able to get to that one. And for that connection, I don't think it's going to fit on that screw, so what I'm going to have to do is probably cut this connector off of here and put it in here and tighten it down. So a few little modifications got to be made. So we've got it in place here. I've bolted it down, connected everything else back up. I'm going to show you how I'm making my connections onto this RV style plug. So what I've done is I have cut the insulation off this crimp connector, And then I have cut the little spade terminal off the end of it. And we're just going to push that inside of here. So we still have a nice piece of nice metal that should be very conductive. So we'll put that inside of there and tighten that screw down on that. And I'm hoping that's going to work just fine. I'm sure somebody who is more well versed in electricity and electrical wiring and stuff will tell me that that is incorrect and that will not work. And you're probably right, but that's what we're going to do. So I just have to tighten down this ground connector, clean all this area in here all out. I'm going to wipe it down and then blow it out with my air compressor. Clean all this up and we'll bolt it back up, take it over to the RV and test it. Before I put this all together, I realized that I had made a error. So the hot is the red and the neutral is the blue. So it's always a good idea to double check what you're doing. I got a little bit too excited. So there you go. Blue is neutral, red is hot. So neutral goes on the white, and this one is clearly labeled white. So that's where that's going to go. This is the first time I've had this thing up here. Looks like I'm going to have to maybe put a piece of plywood in this little frame here because it barely is holding in here. I don't think it's going to fall out or anything, but I might put plywood with a little piece of rubber, and then I also may flip the entire thing around because the exhaust is on this side. I'd rather not have the exhaust going right on my batteries, but hefted it on up there, so we're going to start it. Then we'll plug in our cord and we'll go in and see if the AC works. So let's get her fired up here. Putting out 10.2 amps, 9, almost 10 amps. We'll go inside. Nice and quiet generator. Okay, I know that we got juice because the generator or the microwave is on. Let's see if we can figure out this AC. It's been a minute since I've played with it. There we go, low. Furnace, low. All right. Yep, I can hear it drawing. There we go. Ah, nice cool air. And the generator's not too annoying inside of here right now. There we go. Really kicked on. Generator's still going. I know you can't tell if the air's coming out, but it is. Dirty hands and all. Okay. Test complete. Very nice. Now, if you're running a generator like this, what you want to do is shut everything off, unplug it, and then shut the generator off. You shouldn't shut your generator off under load or start it under load. Sometimes it happens, but you shouldn't do it. So I'm going to shut everything down and we will end the video. Okay, so it's not just a simple bolt-in mod. It does require a little bit of work, but for me, it was worth it. And that plug was under $10. I think I paid $8.70 or something for that. But then again, I needed $200 worth of tools. Yeah, no one ever talks about that. They talk about how you can fix something for $10, but they forget to mention the couple $100 worth of tools required. All right, if you're digging what I'm putting out, give me a thumbs up. Please leave a comment down below if you would. And if you're not already a subscriber, please consider doing so. Thank you very much for watching. Get out there and find your adventure. Adios.